Before this week's video, let's just agree to never speak of Week 5 again. Oh hi, it's your old pal Dalby back for week number 6 in the NFL. Remember, just below this video, in the description, links to everything you need to make your very own tickets based on my picks, your gut feelings, what have you. And don't forget, sign up to be an MVP to get all the lines and spreads delivered to you as soon as they're available. The only saving grace to how I did last week in my NFL picks is how bad all the other experts bombed. I went 1 for 3 straight up in last week's video and 1 for 3 against the spread. Thanks to Buffalo not knowing what to do with a turnover, and thanks to the G-men losing literally everybody who's ever caught a football for that team in a single game. Overall, salvaged it, managed to finish 7-7. And remember, you can follow me on Instagram to get all of my straight up picks for every game each week, not just the ones in this video. And now we forget that week 5 ever happened and dive into week number 6. 8 sacks, 4 interceptions. Remember those stats because New Orleans has a solid chance of upping them this week. Those are the totals for the New Orleans defense in their last 2 games, obviously not counting a bye week. Their blitzes are getting through, they're putting pressure on quarterbacks, they're forcing bad throws, and when you look at who's under center for Detroit, Matt Stafford is still limping around the Motor City in practice. And that means it's not going to take as much pressure to get to him. He's going to be moving slower, which means if those blitzes come in off the corners, as New Orleans has been doing so effectively, he's not going to be able to outrun them. And when you factor in the rest of things, I mentioned Matt Stafford is not going to be 100%. He's going to play, but he's not going to be 100% for this game. Is he going to be able to keep up through the air with Drew Brees coming off a bye week, fully rested at the top of his game, already having played well through the start of the season? Now, New Orleans is giving up 4.5 on the spread, which may be daunting for some people, but they're also 8-1 in their last 9 against the spread, so I like them to win on everything. Last year, Arizona beat Tampa Bay in a fashion that could really only be described as uncomfortable. It was bad for Tampa. We're talking injuries, we're talking turnovers, just bad play, and they got embarrassed. And if you don't think Tampa Bay's been thinking about that game ever since the schedule for this year came out and their chance for revenge, you're crazy. Doug Martin is back, looked good against New England last week, rushing for a good handful of yards considering his first time back in a while. He's got something to prove after getting hurt in the first quarter of that game last year. Mike Evans is still talking about that game, so you know he's going to be doing his damnedest to get downfield and bring in those deep balls to show that that is not the team that they are right now. And you know that nobody is going to want to step up and show that they are not what they used to be more than Jameis Winston, who had 4 interceptions in that game last year. I'm looking for him to have none. Ball control all the way through on this one. Arizona's been up and down all season. Now, they did add a new wrinkle just in time for this game, trading for Adrian Peterson, but it's not the all day that we all fondly remember. This is a guy New Orleans only gave 27 touches to through 4 games. If he was Adrian Peterson the way we remember him, they would have given him the rock and let him hammer it. Sure, New Orleans is not a running team specifically with a guy like Drew Brees under center, but you don't just not use a star player. New Orleans didn't see that spark in Peterson, and I don't think we're going to see it this week in his first game in an Arizona jersey. The spread hands 2.5 points to Arizona, but I do think Tampa wins enough to take them on your pro line and your point spread this week. Jacksonville's one of those teams that made me cry last week. Not only because they beat up on my Pittsburgh boys, but also because I can't figure out if they're a legit team or not. I didn't buy them in week 1 when they played against Houston, and they smoked Houston. I didn't sway from that feeling for week 2 when they played Tennessee, and that's the only time I've been right about them so far this year. I said Baltimore would break them. They broke Baltimore. I finally caved and picked them to beat New York, and they lost in overtime. And then I figured the luck has run out, and I picked Pittsburgh, and that was a beating. So here we are, Jekyll and Hyde Jacksonville, bearing down on the one team that LA hasn't tried to find a gift receipt for. So what do? Well, Jacksonville has literally come out and said that they feel more comfortable about their chance of winning if Blake Bortles isn't throwing the ball. Now, normally that would mean that an opposing defense can key in on the run game, really focus on shutting that down, and ride the rest of the game to victory. But Leonard Fournette is apparently the exception to that. He continues to put up huge numbers in the run game, even though all their opponents know he's going to run the ball. And I think what that's going to do is it's going to cause teams like LA to over-focus on the running game, to try and shut down what they think is the only offensive asset Jacksonville has. And that's going to open the door for Blake Bortles to have a good game. An unexpected aerial assault and a strong defense keying in on Jared Goff under center for LA is going to lead to Jacksonville pulling out the win here. And I'm thinking they win by 4, maybe even more. So again, take them across the board. All right, let's fill out your pools card now with some quick picks. I like Atlanta to smoke Miami. Take Houston rolling at home. Take Washington doing the same. New England with a big division win on the road. And Denver and Tennessee picking up some nice spotlight wins in Sunday and Monday Night Football. And that's who I got. Who do you got in week number 6 in the NFL? Leave it in the comments down below. We'll compare my scores to your scores. Remember, you can tweet me your locks, you can post them on Facebook, or you can share them right here in the comments. Thank you so much for coming to watch this game. Don't forget to hit those links in the description down below to make your own tickets, to check out all the lines and spreads, and to become an MVP. And then subscribe to this channel, hit the bell for the notifications so you never miss one of these videos. And we'll see you back here, hopefully bragging about my record in week 6 when we talk about week 7. I'm your old pal Dalby. Thanks for watching.